Hey, how you doing, everybody? As always, it's JD Lewis with Untamed Conversations. Today, I have a pretty special guest. It's a good friend of mine, I would say. His name is Jimmy, and I'm going to let him introduce himself.
What's going on, everyone? This is Jimmy. I'm from Milford Pharmacy, and I'm also from Milford, Connecticut. I'm excited to be on the show tonight.
Excellent, man. So I'm going to kind of start out with how we met. So obviously, anybody out there who knows Milford Pharmacy, I would say, just from personal experience, number one pharmacy in Milford. I think so.
Thank you. Thank you.
A lot of people have been going there. Jimmy and I met during COVID when it first started, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
I had some pretty serious anxiety, and I would say that I was his best customer probably every 3 or 4 days. What do you think? I would come in there probably every 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, absolutely. It was yeah, I would say mostly weekly now. It went down to a week, but we definitely were talking outside every time, when you pulled up with your car. That was probably something that we connected very well on, how about the Infinities. I still remember those days.
Oh my gosh, man. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
I missed that car. That was a lot of fun. I mean, I just recently bought a truck,
Yes.
with buying the house and everything. I'm trying to, be more of an adult, I guess you can say. But we'll get there.
Yep. I feel you.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was going in every week. I was getting a COVID test and whatnot. You guys were great. I mean, everywhere else, before I knew about you, everywhere else was you got to wait
Mhm.
6 hours, you got to wait 3 days, you got to do a drive-through, you got to do this. And then
Yeah.
I forget who it was, but somebody had mentioned you guys,
Yes.
and they were like, "Dude, check out Milford Pharmacy." I went in there. You guys were great. I mean, it was perfect. I mean, and then from then on, I think I changed all my prescriptions to you guys. My wife, my family. It's just a lot easier with you guys.
Thank you.
Everything is very easy, no issues ever.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Of course, man. Let me ask you, Jimmy. I mean, what did
Yeah.
you do before you had the pharmacy? I mean, what's your backstory? What were you doing first?
So I was mostly into sales. My last job before going into the pharmacy world, I was an AT&T manager for probably 14 years. But obviously I grew, climbed up the ladder. I started as a sales rep, and then moved to an assistant manager, and then store manager. I did a little of their business side as well too. So 14 years deep. It was a pretty awesome experience. Definitely taught me a lot. I gotta say, I picked up a lot of good habits, especially customer service skills. And I brought that to the pharmacy. Whether it's like the front end looking sharp, the green approach stage. That's all something that I could piggyback from my AT&T experience, and I kind of tweaked it around a little bit and brought it to the Milford Pharmacy.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, I like obviously you know me. We've talked. I was at Toyota for 10 years in Milford, Colonial
Yes.
Toyota. It was fun. I mean, I learned a lot customer service wise. And now I'm at FCP Euro, kind of doing the same thing, sales, customer service. It's a grind. That's for sure. I mean, it's not easy, and I'm sure you'll attest to that. I mean, dealing with people on a daily basis, it's good and bad. I mean, obviously your old job's a little different. I would say obviously at the
Mhm.
pharmacy you're helping a lot of people out. I think
Yeah.
AT&T was probably a little bit different. You maybe got aggravated a little bit. You probably had different customers as opposed to what you have now.
Yeah, my see, as a store manager, I was like the last contact person, so I didn't really, how their last interaction went, etc. But this one here with the pharmacy, I got to be at the register every time. I should make sure everyone's, happy. My team is
Of
learning.
course.
We got a great team too. I honestly, I think they make the job flow just so much better, and they make the whole experience much better than everyone else.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I think if obviously it starts with a good leader, having a good team is huge for the amount of people that you have coming in the doors every day. Let me ask you this: what made you decide to go forward with the pharmacy? I mean, what were you thinking about, and what was in the back of your mind when you decided to do this?
So my wife is the
Yep.
pharmacist, and you know, she I just seen her work. She started as a pharmacy technician in New York for about 9 years, and she would tell me, how much work and effort she puts in. Her first real job, she worked for an independent pharmacy in Hamden, and she was they had her down as the manager, and she would just tell me how much work she puts in, and she's on her feet all day, and I'm like, man, you all these hours that you're putting in, they don't really respect you, that they don't really show you appreciation like the way you should be. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna open up your own pharmacy for you.
That's awesome.
And that's how we started, you know. It was first to start as talk, like, I got you, babe. Don't worry, I'm gonna have your own pharmacy. You do your own hours, you do your own thing.
Yeah, yep.
I was like, if you're, working 100 hours a week, at the end of the day, it's your pharmacy, and that motivated her to do even better and go on. So, and yeah, that's how we started.
That's awesome, man. And I'm pretty positive I have met your wife. The times where you weren't there, there'd
She was definitely
be a little
there.
sticky note or something that says, JD's coming in,
Yeah,
whatever,
it's true.
take care of him, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
That's awesome, man, because you definitely hear a lot of people, like you just said, that will be, I'll take care of you. I got this, I got this. And sometimes they don't
Yeah.
really follow through. It sounds like you knew exactly what you were doing. You guys wanted to do that together, and now look at you now. I mean, let me ask you this. I mean, and I'm sure a lot of people want to know,
Yeah.
how did you survive during COVID, and also how did you guys thrive during COVID? I mean, because obviously a lot of places weren't doing very well during the pandemic.
Yeah.
How did you end up, really surviving, and also, like I said, just thriving and making it happen?
So I think COVID, kind of made us, at the time the vaccines were
Mhm.
available, and, we were the first, well, I would say the first, but we had the vaccines available at our pharmacy. One good thing is we actually had three options. There
Yeah,
was Johnson and Johnson at the time, there was Moderna, there was Pfizer. One thing that we did, well, first off, in the very, very beginning, it was by appointment
yeah,
only.
yep, I remember.
But and then we noticed that the older, generation or crowd struggled to make an appointment
Mhm.
because some of them was like, "Hey, I don't know how to use a
Yeah,
computer.
yep, absolutely.
Can I just come down?" So I was like, you know what? Walk-ins only going forward. Let's just do walk-in appointments. No appointments required.
Yeah,
Let's
yep.
just do walk-ins for everyone. Let's let that spread like wildfire. So we ended up hiring a nurse, and my wife was there. We were administering vaccines. We kind of set the tone, like, listen, it's gonna be about a 15-minute wait,
Yeah.
10-15 minutes. Everyone was excited about that because, they were able to get in.
Yeah, and you weren't turning people away like other places.
We didn't turn anyone away. That was the best part. When no one got turned away, we had parking. And then that's where we kind of like, that's where I came in. While they were sitting down for 10 minutes, we introduced ourselves. They saw that we were a family
Mhm.
working behind the counter, and was like, hey, listen, we do offer free home delivery. Let's switch you over to our pharmacy. And they're like, wow, you guys offer free home delivery on prescription meds? Like, yeah. All right, sign me up. What do I need to do? Oh, you don't have to do anything. We'll do all the work for you.
Yeah,
We do it all. So we'll call your old pharmacy. We'll switch you guys over, and that's what we did. And then before you know it, they got called down. They got their vaccine shot. It was in and out. They loved it. They enjoyed it. They came back again and again for their boosters and
yeah.
everything else. And then that's how we got really well known out there, because people just love having no line, no wait
Yeah,
kind of thing.
and that's the thing, like no bullshit, no BS, it was
Yeah,
I know for a fact when I got my vaccine,
yeah.
I went with you guys. I believe actually my wife was there, my in-laws. You
Hmm.
guys were super easy, and I think I remember when I was there, I was terrified because I'm not a huge fan of needles, and things you don't know about, but you guys were pretty cool. Like I think you were sitting there talking to me, and we were just kind of bullshitting why it happened. And you were
Yep.
like, yeah, 15 minutes, make sure you're good, and then
And
you're all
that's it.
set. I mean, I would say, word of mouth too. I mean, you guys are all over social
Yeah.
media. I mean,
Yeah.
you definitely see me and like a lot of other people. Anytime somebody says something, who do you recommend? We throw you out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not going to mention,
It's funny that
not going to mention the competitors by name because I don't want to do that. But there are some other places I've seen that really just dropped the ball during the pandemic and everything. I feel like,
yeah.
the hour or two wait line. I think I remember one time at this specific place, I waited in the drive-through for I think for 52 minutes because it was
Wow.
a prescription that I needed. It
Yeah.
wasn't something like a lotion or something. I mean, it was an anxiety medication that I needed to take. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah, I
it took
get it.
almost 53 minutes for me to get that prescription.
That's
And I think that might have been the last time because then when I switched to you guys, and now, I mean, I'll shoot you a text and, you guys are at my work in 10 minutes. You guys are at my house in 20 minutes.
yeah. That's
I think the longest I ever waited, which is obviously that's normal because I text you last minute. I think that
yeah.
one time I text you at like 9:30, you're like, hey, we can't make it till 11. I'm like, That's great. I mean, that's not a problem whatsoever.
Only because the driver comes in at 11. That's all.
Well, it's good to know. I'm one of the first ones always.
Yeah.
Jimmy, what do you think? Obviously, you said everything that worked well during the last couple of years. What do you think one of the bigger
Yeah.
challenges you had during the pandemic? Was there anything that kind of maybe not held you back, but made you a little bit nervous and you had to overcome? Anything like that?
One of the challenges we had was getting, patients to come through our doors to really see who we were too. A lot of, mostly the vendors, I wanted to have a lot of options available for the pharmacy, but the vendors were not coming in because everyone wasn't really kind of out on the field yet. And that was one of the struggles because I wanted everyone to know, like, listen, we're Milford Pharmacy. We're a small independent pharmacy, but we got everything you
Yeah.
need. We can get it. So give us a chance. A lot of patients were coming down just for the vaccines, but when, COVID started going away, more and more vendors were coming out. And then, if you come to my store today versus 2, 3 years ago, you can tell there's a huge difference in the gift shop
Oh
section,
yeah.
like the travel section. Now we got like makeup, we got toys, we got clothing, we got stuff. People like, wow, I haven't seen this in like years, and they're buying it for a little souvenir. So those are all good things that are happening now versus back in the day. And then with COVID, deliveries were limited to like medication
Yeah.
outages,
Yep.
and there was a lot of stuff that was not available. And that's not something that I wanted to show as a first time patient coming in. Like, I'm sorry, we can't get it for you. Obviously they're not expecting to hear that. So that was one of the struggles in the beginning days because COVID, it kind of hurt everybody, vendors, retailers,
Oh yeah.
storefronts,
I mean, I remember with
people were not really walking, no one was walking in the streets. And I was like, wow,
well,
like,
yeah, downtown Milford, which is, oh, and you see it, parades, anything
yeah,
downtown Milford where you guys are. I mean, during COVID, it was there might have been
yeah. Even
10 people walking on the street.
if you remember, I don't know, like, I think when COVID first happened, they postponed the Oyster
I remember that.
Festival.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's what really makes like Milford pop,
Yeah.
all these nice events and board carnivals that they have, and all those was canceled. So we weren't really getting any new patients coming down. So that's where I think everybody struggled with that.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I would say that because I think I was at the dealership at the time of COVID, and then my first year at FCP Euro was kind of, I guess you could say, in the middle of COVID, maybe towards the end, but more towards the middle. I
Yeah.
remember at the dealership we had nobody. I mean, we had 30 salesmen and two customers.
Hmm.
I've actually never seen people so nervous in their lives. I mean, I remember people walking in the dealership with gloves, masks, pretty much whatever they can think of, they were wearing. So I mean, I
Yes.
definitely think that was a rough time. And I mean, for what you guys did during that time, that's huge. I mean, I feel like you definitely made everybody comfortable as well. Like well, I mean, I can speak for myself. Anytime I came in there, I was very comfortable. I mean, I know at one point I hated COVID tests when it first came out. I was like, this is some bullshit. I'm like, I don't want stuff in my
Yeah.
nose. I don't know what the hell
Yep.
these are. And then the more I came, I remember like you'd give me the rapid test and we just kind of bullshit during it. Like we'd be laughing.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, it's over. I mean,
Over.
and my work was very strict with it. I remember you and I talked. It was
Hmm.
if you had a headache, make
Yeah.
you come get a test.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we had to be careful ourselves too. Like my team and I,
Yeah.
we were very, very, very careful because if I catch it and I bring it back to my team,
Yep.
then they're out sick and I'm out sick. Like, oh man, we have to close the pharmacy today, But so thank God that never really ever happened. So that was a huge blessing that we never caught COVID
Yeah.
and spread it around to each other. Very blessed, we didn't catch it, which is
Well, I
awesome.
remember. So the first time I had it, this was actually before you guys were like really open. That was
Yeah.
one of the walk-ins, the emergency walk-ins. The second time I remember you were there, and you were actually, I think it was we were talking in the parking lot. You kept me kind of chill because I was like, I had it again. I sent you the picture, and you're like that little. It was a faint line though, and you were like,
Yeah.
it kind of means it's like almost gone. But that was when I was my Tara was on her bachelorette party. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
got COVID, and she's like, she stayed away from me for 2 days before she left. She's like, you are not ruining my bachelorette party. And I remember you and I talking. You're like, oh, you'll be good. And I was fine, but I mean, that was probably the worst. I had COVID 3 times. That was probably the worst. I was just tired.
Yeah.
Knock on wood, I never had any, respiratory issues like some.
Mhm.
And I think that was more or less like you and I have talked about from being a little bit healthier.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Taking vitamins. I took a lot of
Mhm.
vitamins and things like that, and just to try to Be like, you know what? If I'm going to get this, I might as well take care of myself. I mean, I remember you and I talked. I had the OG like 2 weeks after they announced what COVID was. Go figure. I'm in the middle of the night. I lose my taste. And it was funny. Laura and
Wow.
I were bullshitting, and she's like, "Yeah, okay." She goes, "Of course it would be you." As a joke, I took a
Yeah.
shot of Tabasco sauce, and I tasted nothing.
Wow. I've actually never gotten the chance to experience that because that's the first thing I would have done was probably
It,
chug the hot
it's
sauce.
I will tell you, I have a friend of mine that had it's been 2 years now, and he still doesn't have any taste.
Oh, oh my God. I haven't heard about
Two
that.
years, and he's actually a
Wow.
very close friend, more like family. So it's I'm like, you still can't
Wow.
taste. He goes, maybe a little bit, but he goes, there's a lot of stuff that I try to eat and this and that and drink, and he's like, I don't taste shit. I'm like, wow, that's
Oh, that's horrible.
it.
Imagine drinking coffee in the morning and it tastes like water. Oh,
I mean, the good thing, I guess, you can drink pretty much whatever kind of alcohol you want, even if it tastes like crap.
that's true. And they're like, wait, why am I tipsy?
I think if I had no taste,
That's
I would
funny.
probably drink Jaeger.
Mm.
You'll never see me drink that ever again. But
Oh, the last time I had Jaeger was the Jaeger bombs back in what, high
oh
school.
yeah, I remember those, man. It was like what the
Yeah.
hype shots and like Jaeger
Yep.
bombs and
Jaeger bombs.
now, let me ask you, Jimmy. I know we've been talking about the pharmacy.
Yeah.
What made you choose Milford, and why do you enjoy being in Milford?
Crazy, crazy story. So my last position with AT&T, I was working at the Orange location, and there was a vacant store right next to the AT&T store, and I was telling my wife, I was like, let's do it. Let's go sign the lease. Look at that place right there. That's a perfect spot. I was like, well, we'll drive down to work together.
Yeah.
You're the next door over, and I'll come and say hi to you while you're working, and I'll be working with AT&T, and you do your thing. She's like, yeah, let's do it. So in order to get started, you have to reach out to like the vendor, the primary vendor that signs you up to deliver all the medicine for you.
Okay.
So before they give you the contract, they have to do their due diligence and like check out the traffic and this and that and this to see if it makes sense for you to open up here.
Of course.
And then the sales rep was like, "Hey, I got a location for you better than this location. I got one in Milford. What do you think?" And I was like, "If you recommend Milford, we're going to Milford." And and that's how we started. And I grew up in North Haven my whole life here in Connecticut,
Okay.
and I Milford is a city where we just kind of drove by. I went to the mall
A lot of people
and
do that. Yeah. Yep.
yeah, and we went to Smiles, growing up on the post road. That was Milford for me. That's
Yeah.
it. But now I live in Milford. I love Milford. I love the people of Milford. The beaches here are amazing. Like it's just like wow. Like where are we like in a tourist area here? I feel like there's Airbnbs now that's renting out for $1,000 a night. I was like, no one would ever know that Milford has Airbnbs that get rented out for $1,000 a night on the beach. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
no other city that I know. Like North Haven definitely doesn't have that. New Haven, maybe more down south, but Milford's just
Yeah.
amazing.
No, I mean, it's Milford, obviously, for me, born and raised in Milford.
Yeah.
I lived in Orange for about 2 years, and I lived in Shelton for 4 years. I love Milford. The beach, I mean, all right, I take that back. I don't like beaches.
Yeah.
Everybody that knows me obviously can tell I'm very fair skinned. I go out in the sun for 10 minutes, I turn into a tomato.
My daughters call me sausage when I come back home. Like, Baba, you look like a sausage. I was like, all right, thanks, Dad.
I'll sit on the back of my tailgate at the beach,
Yeah. Yeah.
watch people hang out. I mean, that's cool though that you ended up in Milford. I
Oh,
mean, Milford is a very
oh, so
interesting town.
best decision ever made was opening in downtown, especially downtown Milford.
That's
Like
huge.
downtown Milford is just beautiful. Like, we have like the Christmas events.
Oh yeah, yep.
Being us being part of like when the mayor comes down, turn the lights on. That's just amazing.
Yeah, the tree
All the
lighting's great.
fairs, the
Tree
tree
lighting.
lighting. We got the Oyster Festival downtown. All the Memorial Day parade. We got Pirates Day.
Yep.
Just us being in the center of all that, just amazing.
No, that's
You know,
that's awesome. I mean, Milford is what do they call it? Milford is a small city with a big heart.
big
That's
heart,
what everybody
absolutely.
says.
And that's the best part about going to work every day because the patients that are with us now, they're like family. Like I know their kids,
Yeah.
I know their family. They know me, they know my kids. Like, when I first opened up the pharmacy, my little one was 6 months old,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
now she's 4 years old, and they
Hmm.
come down like, oh my God, she's so grown, like when we first opened, she wasn't even walking, she was crawling in the pharmacy. Now she runs the place.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like
No.
it's funny you say like Milford. I mean, example, just how good Milford Pharmacy is, guys. Anybody that's listening, I forget when it was. It was a couple years back. I think I texted Jimmy and I was just like, "Hey, everybody's out of COVID test. I have none."
Yeah. Oh,
And I'll never forget that. You had five of them waiting for me at the counter.
oh my God. I remember those COVID test days.
Yep. Yeah,
I think we
everybody I
would go
reached out
through.
to, like this
Yeah.
is before I really knew who you were. No, everybody was like, "Oh, nothing, nothing, nothing." And then I remembered, I'm like, you know what? I went in there a few times. You guys were great. I'm like, let me see what's up.
Yeah.
And I went in there. You guys had a couple. I took them. And then what? It was like 6, 7 months later. You and I had become pretty close. I texted you. I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
literally the whole family is sick. You're like, listen, I got 4 or 5 of
I
them
got
sitting
you.
here on the counter. Come
I
grab them.
got you.
And I feel like that's how you are with kind of all your customers.
Yeah.
I pretend sometimes that I get special treatment, but we're friends. But I know you're also like that with
I
everybody.
treat everybody like family,
Yeah,
so I love what I do, and it just motivates me to do better every day at work. There's never a boring day at work. And that's why I tell my team, I was like, you guys are awesome because I come to work every day. We're all smiling. We got the best patients in town.
yeah,
Everyone here is just awesome. And I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes we get patients. They come into our pharmacy. They got their guards up. They got their
yeah.
arms up. Like they want to fight us because they've been through a lot with other pharmacies. And then, I'm there at the counter greeting them, smiling. Like, wait, okay, okay, we'll get used to this. And I was like, how's everything? How's the weather going? How's life? We'll be right with you. I'll have your medicine ready in 10 minutes. Like, wait, did you just say 10 minutes? Like, yeah. My wife is just checking it out, make sure everything's okay for you. Hey, help yourself. Let's go enjoy your water while you wait. Like, you sure? Like, yeah. Relax, have a good time, and then before you know it, their medicine's up and ready. They're like,
Yeah.
wow, this is the best experience that I've had.
No, that's huge, and it's like I remember, like you were just saying before, how you canceled all the appointments, just said walk-ins, walk-ins, walk-ins. Because I remember
Mhm.
I was in
Yeah,
there for a test one day, and I
yeah.
had 5 or 6 people that came in, and they were like, "Hey, I have an appointment," but they didn't schedule it correctly.
Hmm.
You were still able to get them in. You still hooked them up, and I think that was a good decision. I mean, I think you nailed it with
Yeah.
walk-ins.
They love that part. Walk-ins only. I'm saying that was the best thing that I set up for the pharmacy walk-in, especially with flu season.
Yeah,
Everyone comes
absolutely.
in for flu shots. Like I can just come in, like, and the best part is when the recording says, just come on in, walk in only.
Yeah,
Just
yep,
come on in. Like I just got off the phone and it says walk in only. Like, are you guys sure you guys do
yeah,
walk-ins
yeah.
only? Like, you guys are the best.
That's great. Let me ask you this, Jimmy. I mean, kind of, coming towards the end a little bit,
Yes.
just a few other questions. What is your 5-year plan for the pharmacy? I mean, what are your goals, your other goals to really, expand the pharmacy? What's going on?
That's a excellent question. I feel like, I definitely would love to expand, right? But expanding in the pharmacy business is tough because I want to focus on my Milford Pharmacy.
Yeah,
I
yep,
feel like if we open up a second branch, would have to I think it's tough. So I'm happy where we are. Maybe continue to grow the business. Absolutely. Continue to grow my delivery service. Absolutely. Make the workspace bigger so we can have more staff on board just to continue to, do what we do best every day. But, if an opportunity comes, you never know. We'll see what happens.
that's awesome, man. And kind of my last question for you. What do you want to say to the people out there listening? That maybe don't come to the pharmacy yet. They're not, and obviously not poaching people. They're like throwing a sales
Yeah.
pitch. I mean, what do you want to say to them to say, just hey, come check it out, and maybe you'll see a
Yeah.
difference.
Check it out. Come down, take a look. We're not only a pharmacy, is what I tell everyone. We have over the counter items that you're looking for. We got the best gift shop in town. We got gift cards, makeup. We got all that good stuff. And if you ever need us for anything, we're here.
Very cool, man. I appreciate the time. I mean, this is
Thank you.
this has been really good. I mean, and again, obviously, you didn't necessarily need to be on here. You have, quite a good following, but, I just wanted to get your name out even more for maybe people that don't live in Milford or anybody that's, kind of around the area that doesn't know about you, that does listen to my podcast. I just wanted to, get a business on here, like I've had one before, but, homegrown. You started it from the bottom, and now you're here, man.
Yeah, we definitely started all the way from the bottom, and I think hopefully we're doing great. Everyone loves us, and it was funny that you mentioned earlier. You're talking about a Facebook. I had someone was asking Milford Group like, hey, where's a good pharmacy,
Yep.
and everyone was like, Milford Pharmacy, Milford
Yeah, I
Pharmacy,
jumped in
Milford
on that.
Pharmacy.
Yes, I did.
And he called me to tell me, he's like, and he posted this on Facebook. He said, I've never seen the internet agree on one thing, but they did with Milford Pharmacy. And I was like, man, I gotta frame this and hang it up on my wall somewhere. Like that's like words of motivation there,
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Because it's so true.
That's a reason to keep going.
Yeah,
I appreciate it,
yeah,
man.
absolutely,
And everybody,
absolutely.
like I said, as always, this has been JD Lewis with Untamed Conversations. And again, you want to check out Jimmy, check out the pharmacy. Head in there downtown Milford. And Jimmy, again, if your address, I don't want to get it incorrect.
78 Broad Street, downtown Milford. We're right in between the two banks, Key Bank. We got Webster Bank, and we got Scratch Baking next door.
Yes.
They make the best coffee, hands down.
So
We're there every
you
day.
guys all heard it. Listen, that's 78 Broad Street in Milford.
Yep.
Come check out the pharmacy, meet Jimmy, meet the family, have your prescriptions go there. They're very good people. They're always going to take care of you.
Yeah, absolutely. And no one's a customer at our pharmacy. Everyone's a family member.
You got to remember that everybody's family.
We're all family.
And again, as always, everybody have a great night.